You can watch me when I fall, when I cry, when I get shot, when I go to jail, when I die. You can watch.
Your homie Gab is in the building.
Now it's all about Versace. You copy my style. 5 shots couldn't drop me. I took it and smelled.
Yeah, I know who shot me. I don't care about telling the police none of that. I don't care about none of that. It's not like I'm untouchable. I can be killed as soon as I get out of here. You know what I mean? But I go cool. I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'll go, screaming West Side and I'm all good.
It's 1994, when Tupac and his entourage went for a recording session at the Quad Studio in New York, when 2 gunmen opened fire and shot him a total of 5 times.
Once he was shot and then survived, and was pulled into the ambulance, giving the finger, and then came back to his case the next day to find out, whether they prosecuted him or not, whether he was guilty or not. I mean, that was it. Legend was made. There was no turning back for the hip hop community as far as Tupac was concerned. He was like a heroic figure.
Now I'm about to set the record straight. With my AK, I'm still the thug that you love to hate. Motherfucker, I hear him.
And that's what Killuminati is. But it's up to you to bring it to the people, or else we're going to have an East Coast, West Coast war, because I'm not bowing down.
Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab, I'm in the building. And this is MAKAVELI Media. YouTube. Sometimes you just ain't fair. Man, I worked on a video all yesterday and all last night for y'all. Incredible video. I had all the bells and whistles on there, all the clips. I had Tupac give his last interview in his own words. And I added the footage to every scene he talked about. It was just amazing. To me, one of my best videos I ever did. Complete gold. Could not put it out. No good reasoning. Just wouldn't let me put it out. Block. Every time I tried to give it to you. So, what I had to do is, I got to try to translate it in my own words. You guys can look at the Tupac interview I'm about to refer to on your own. It's called The Last Interview. I call it the Killuminati interview because it was the first time that I heard Tupac or anybody use the phrase Killuminati. Killing all the Illuminati stuff. And to me, this is the interview that got Tupac killed. Very powerful stuff. The powers that be will allow us to beef with each other all day long. Tupac talked about Biggie in this interview. He shitted on Biggie. He rolled on Ice Cube. He dissed Nas. He hollered at KRS-One. Got at Rakim. He just ran down the list. Stepped on Mobb Deep. Yeah. Pac was going off in this interview. Very, very powerful interview. But Tupac also may have tipped his hand in this very interview. Now, it's important to me to give you the backstory to the interview. Tupac did this exclusive, bone-chilling interview with Rob Marriott, a young, up-and-coming writer and hip-hop journalist at the time. Got his hands on complete gold. Did the interview with Pac. Tupac spoke, relentlessly about his beliefs, his passions, his hopes, his wrongdoings. He talked about being shot 5 times. He talked about what it was like to be incarcerated. Tupac just gave you a pure, unadulterated interview. But he also may have tipped his hand. You see, in this same interview, when Tupac is riding on the East Coast, when Tupac is destroying his enemies, he also started to talk about his plans in terms of community development and black economics. But the biggest thing was when Tupac talked about starting his own political party. Major red flag. Tupac talked about starting his own political party, and what made that a threat is because Tupac had a militant background. They came from a militant black upbringing, and he also had the fan base to support him. But Tupac also had the intelligence to do it, and he was brave enough to do it, and he wanted to do it. That was his end goal the whole time, to politicize young black Americans and to add the political structure to street and gang culture that already existed in the inner cities. Deep stuff. Because I think in that year alone, at that point in time, Tupac was already diamond. And you look at the albums he sold before he got to death row, we talking roughly maybe 20 million records sold at this point in time. Maybe more than that, total. For a 25-year-old son of a Black Panther leader to talk about his political aspirations openly. He guaranteed that he would be sitting across from presidential candidates the next election. That's a threat. Not to us, but to the same old boy network who want people to just go along whatever they do and to follow like sheep. Tupac had already showed you that he wasn't no follower. In fact, he was a young leader. Or should I say, he was the young leader that they feared. They feared Tupac. And this was a golden opportunity to eradicate and eliminate that problem. In this interview, very important interview, for several reasons. Yes, it is Tupac's last official interview, but Tupac was murdered brutally 17 days later after this interview. I mean, I don't know who could have heard the interview, but Tupac was being followed. Tupac hotel rooms were being bugged. Tupac was under 24-hour surveillance. You don't think somebody heard this interview? You don't think this was proof that Tupac was trying to go to the next level, involved in politics and black leadership and the fight against oppression and all types of stuff like that? Tupac was turning the corner, or should I say turn the page from just the traditional gangster rap scene on a whole nother level. Because unlike his constituents, or should I say his peers, on layman's terms, other rappers, Tupac had equal influence on both coasts. It's only two sides of America. I mean, you got your north and your south, but both coasts is east and west. He had influence on both coasts because he was born on the east and he set up shop on the west. Kept both lanes open, both lines open. Had love for the east. A lot of the east coast loved him back. And he was running the west coast. That's America, y'all. And in this interview, Tupac talked about being the future of America because he is bi-coastal. hop on a plane and go to New York and fly back to Cali and have equal influence. And let's not forget about the South. Major love for Tupac in the South, in the Midwest, and everywhere in between. So if Tupac talks about having political, aspirations, you gotta take him serious. And somebody did. Tupac also talked about why no politicians had ever come to him and asked for his endorsement or his blessings, because of his influence on the hip hop culture. So these are things to look at. We know Tupac's past discretions with law enforcement, the shooting of the 2 off-duty cops in Atlanta. And we also know about the trumped up rape case and the shooting in the Quad studio. All these things are connected. And ultimately, what happened in Las Vegas. This is my homework assignment to you guys. I want you guys to check out that Tupac, The Last Interview. Listen to it in its full entirety. To come back and holler at your boy Gab. I need you guys to share and like this video. Don't forget to sub to the channel. This is Makaveli Media. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm your homie Gab. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.